We'll find out who later in the programme. But first, the vast majority of primary school teachers in London think they are banned from talking about homosexuality in class. A survey by the gay rights charity Stonewall found 89% of teachers in the capital don't believe they're allowed to discuss lesbian, gay or bisexual issues. That's compared to 76% nationally. 45% say their pupils have experienced homophobic bullying or name-calling, yet only 48% say their schools have a policy for recording incidents. Well, I'm joined in the studio by Richard Lane from Stonewall and Louis Coiffait, who is CEO of the National Association of Head Teachers. Thank you both for joining us this evening. Richard, let's start with you. Surprising figures there. And why is London doing so badly here?
I mean, it is surprising because many people think London is one of the most tolerant, greatest places in the world to grow up gay. I think there's probably a few reasons. I think there is possibly a little bit of complacency because of that reputation that we have as such a phenomenal tolerant city. But there are teachers who don't think that parents will support them to tackle it. Some evidence also suggests that some of the teachers are actually younger than the national average in London, so are in an earlier stage of their career, so might not have had the training they need.
Louis, let's come to you. I mean, why? Why is this, in your view? I mean, just 1 in 10 London primary teachers said they even knew that they could talk about gay issues with their pupils. Why is this?
I think that we've got a number of issues there. There has been some progress, which the report shows, but there's clearly a lot more that can be done. So for senior leaders within schools, they really need to take the lead. They need to make it a priority for their staff. Similarly, their middle leaders need to take that message and deliver it to the classroom teachers, and the classroom teachers then need to follow through on that and actually teach children about all kinds of tolerance.
Is it a training issue, though, as well? It must be.
I think it is ultimately a training issue, and it's not really a surprise if you think about the volume and variety of change happening in our schools at the moment. Teaching staff are having to cope with a lot, and they really need to have more time, but also better quality training. I
mean, you say that there are a lot of curriculum changes going on at the moment. Is that slightly, though, passing the buck? Because shouldn't teachers be aware of these issues? I mean, it wouldn't be tolerated if it was racism or sexism, would it?
They should be aware of all of those issues, but they also need to be aware of assessment changes, curriculum changes. They need to be able to do all of that, and that's why it's so important that they get the time and support to really do their jobs properly. OK, Richard,
a few of our viewers have got in touch. I mean, it's just their comments. I mean, a couple worth pointing out. Alex Knowles, he says it's actually for the parents to educate their kids about sex and sexuality. Helen Ellis says we should let children be children and enjoy their childhood. What would you say to people with those views?
That schools should be teaching this in an age-appropriate way, and we have to bear in mind that there are more than 20,000 children growing up with same-sex parents in Britain, and they have a right to see their families, which are just as loving and supportive as anyone else's, reflected in their school.
So, Louis, again, what do we do to tackle this problem?
I think, again, it comes back down to training. I think that we really need to understand what all of the behaviours we're dealing with and how different types of teachers can help kids to deal with that and to work with their other staff.
OK, well, Louis and Richard, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Next, what happens if you take a big box, a death metal band, and place them outside the Gherkin in the city? Well, you think they get a few complaints about the noise, but in fact, it's the silence that's deafening. Glenn Goodman is there for us now. So, Glenn, what exactly is going on?